name is Stefanie Maegan. You're listening to Broke Girl Therapy. Because therapy is too expensive. You're listening to Broke Girl Therapy. Broke Girl Therapy. Yeah, because you're obviously new to
the
BG. People are like, who's? Wait, I have to. Do you want to be Jane Doe or do you want to be? What is your name here on the show? Who's your character? You could literally pick any fucking name. It could be anybody you want. You don't have to be your real name.
Who do I want to be?
Yeah, I like Jane Doe because
I do like Jane Doe.
I have you under as Jane quotes Doe.
Yes, and that's still like literally I still don't use my real name on anything. Like I think on Instagram it's like
you're Jane Doe to me.
Yes, and then my Twitter's the only thing that's different. Everything else is like Mighty.
What's your Twitter? I thought Twitter was Jane Doe.
That's my name, but it's not my at.
What's your at?
It's your girl B. It's your girl B.
It's your girl. Oh yeah, it's your
like
girl
Beyonce.
B. Aww,
yes,
it's like Beyonce.
Yes, like Beyonce. That's where I go.
We'll go with Jane Doe.
Yeah,
I like that because it's like obviously it's anonymous, it's mysterious.
Yes.
Who's Jane Doe?
Yes,
like
girl, she don't even know.
Yeah, exactly. Like to me, you're Jane Doe. You're Jane.
Okay, I'm down.
Like,
I'm down.
So we'll just stick with that. I think that's your brand. That's your Broke Girl Therapy brand.
Okay, I'm down.
Should I get started?
Yeah, are we recording now?
Yeah, I just like start recording and
cool.
How this goes.
Yeah. You're like, should we start now? And it's like you've been talking for 5 minutes. I think you already started.
You've been talking for like 2 hours. How long have you been here? 2 hours.
7.
You came here at 7.
Yeah. It's
I'm
been
so
it's
sorry.
been a good conversation.
Do you have
you're
something,
totally fine.
Do you have something to do after?
No, girl, I have nothing to do.
Did
I ain't got no job. I ain't got nothing better to do. Literally.
Like, did I take up your time?
No, not at all.
I just like to like kick it before. You got the whole BGT experience.
You have to like warm people up and then butter them up and then be like, all right, now we're getting into like the real stuff.
Get you like slightly drunk and then we do it.
Slightly is relative because.
How do you feel right now?
I mean, I feel like I'm still me, but I also feel like I'm definitely not sober.
Yeah, that's the vibe. We don't want like completely like intoxicated, but we don't want like completely sober. We want just kind of like it's you, but just amplified.
I'm chilling. Also, we drank wine before this.
A whole bottle of wine.
Yeah, like a whole bottle between both of us. Now we're drinking peanut butter beer. Not like your regular size beer. This was like a big boy beer that we're splitting between both of us. So like we've definitely like.
And I honestly like. I don't know where this beer came from. It's just been in my fridge like for a while. Like I don't know. I really don't know where.
Am I getting roofied right now?
I know.
This is this random beer.
I really don't. And it's not Jess. Like Jess is sober.
Right? Yeah, she doesn't drink.
So it's like I really don't know where this beer came from.
Well, shout outs to them because
now we have peanut butter beer.
It's pretty decent. I'm not a big fan of it and I'm enjoying it.
We have an IPA. We could drink an IPA after.
We'll
it's Friday.
After.
Let's kick it.
It is Friday. Girl, every day is about to be Friday after today for me.
You unemployed, bitch. You quit your job. It's your last day.
I literally did. Today was my last day. This is me celebrating. Fucking fuck them and leaving that place.
I love that. Okay, let's get into it.
Okay. Start. Ask me a question.
Wait, no, I have to like introduce.
Well,
Don't you
that's
listen
why.
to the show? You've been listening.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay. Hi, guys. It's me, Stefanie Maegan, your host of Broke Girl Therapy. And guess what? You don't know her. But now you do. Now you should know her. It is Jane motherfucking Doe, bitch.
Hello.
And so, fun fact. How did we meet? You want to tell the story? You've been, okay, I will say you've been a long time listener, even before 2020 and TikTok.
Yeah.
Like, you've been, like, listening since, like, what year was it? Like, 2019? 2018?
No, it had to be like 2017, 2018.
That is so...
Yes. Like, you didn't have that many episodes out.
No.
Okay, so this is kind of how I found Broke Girl Therapy.
Okay.
I was on Tinder.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this random gentleman who had like plugged himself right into like her show. He was like a guest on the show. And like I love podcasts. So I was like, oh, cool. Like, let me give this like a listen. So I listened to that episode, but also like I can't start at like a random number. So like I listened to a little bit of that episode and I was like, okay, cool. I got to start like number 1. And, like,
you started at number 1?
Yeah. So I went like all the way down to like the first episode and then like that's how I started listening.
It's such a shitty show. Why were you listening to it?
It was fun. It was relatable. Okay. It was entertaining. So then I started listening and I've been listening like ever since. And then I think I like I don't know where I followed you first. If it was like Instagram or like Twitter. And
you
then
would interact with me. Like you were very like, you stuck out because you just were very interactive. Yes. And I remember when I was like,
I love to give my unsolicited opinion.
You gave me advice. I remember like I had my ex Morgan on, who's like the most controversial ex I've ever had. Yeah. And I remember this was even before like he broke up with me and cheated on me, and I had him on. Like no one even knew we were dating. No one knew. Like I just had him on the show, and you were like, I don't like him.
I literally did not like him from like the first episode. He was just like, you could just tell that he was just very like misogynistic. Like,
for
just
sure.
the way he carried himself, I was like, oh,
so controversial.
He's a fuckboy. Like,
and you tweeted me and you told me like, I don't like this guy that you had on your show.
Fuck, I wonder what I said, because I be like,
I think you were just like, I think you're like, I love this show, but like this last guest, I don't know, or something like that.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, because I remember like not liking him, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, and I was like, you have some good instincts, because later on, obviously, we ended up dating, but you didn't even, we weren't like public.
Yeah, I had no idea.
That time. Yeah,
at that point, like,
but we were flirting, so it was like kind of obvious that maybe there was something there, but like it wasn't that obvious to the point that people like knew we were dating. Like it wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, and then you're like, I don't like him.
Yeah, I didn't like him. And that never really changed, to be honest, even when you had him like in further episodes. Because I think I had like maybe like one or two more.
Yeah.
I never really liked him.
You're like, I don't like this. And it's so funny, my boyfriend now, when he was just a listener and we weren't like friends yet, like he would listen to his episodes and he was like, I don't like him. Like he just like knew like that this guy wasn't good. And he ended up doing
He was just kind of like very obviously an asshole, and like was very proud to be an asshole.
Right.
Like, you're a little too old to be that proud to be a douchebag.
Right. Like, calm the fuck down. Sit your ass down.
Yeah, bring it down a notch. Like, at least pretend not to be, like, such a douchebag. Yeah. You know? But, yeah, I didn't like him from the beginning. And
yeah, but, I mean, honestly, like, I really kind of appreciated, like, how honest you were. Like, I thought that was, like, so dope. Because not only were you interactive, but you were just, like, real. Like, and I was like, wait. Because people in my life are like that. Like, they're very just, like, I love you and I support you, but, like, don't wear that fucking ponytail. Shout out to Sixella Fears. Told me that she hates my ponytails.
I mean, I will say not everybody appreciates that. Like, I've been called a bitch probably like my entire life by so many people that I'm like, at this point, I tried to do the whole nice girl thing and that didn't work out for me very well. So I'm like, why do I need to pretend? Like, I'm just going to be honest upfront, and whoever likes it. Good for you. And if you don't like it, like, sorry, you just don't need to be part of my life anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
so wait, so this guy that you, so who was this guy that you matched with on Tinder?
Honestly, I never actually matched with him.
You never met? Oh, you never matched with him. You just saw.
I just saw his bio, and then I was like, "Oh, a new podcast! I'm always up for a new podcast."
Right.
And then I clicked on it, and like, I never actually matched with this guy. I don't know. He claimed to be like
a dom.
Yeah, like a daddy dom. And then I listened to his episode, and I was like, this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Because I also listened to like a lot of like sex podcasts, right? And like sex has always been something that like interests me. So like
but he's like not a good daddy dom.
No, he wasn't. He was just,
and
like,
I can't believe that he like put my. I mean, I'm flattered because it's like obviously it got me like a new friend and a new listener. Yeah. But like he like he puts a daddy dom and he like, oh, this is what I do, and like plugs the episode.
Yeah, like literally like
so
plug
and
the episode.
We talked about how we hooked up. Like that's
like
so weird to me.
He was just like, you could just tell that it was like. Okay, because being like a dom, right, whether you're female, male, or whatever you identify as, like, there's like an art to it, and I feel like for him, he was just using that as a way to like control women,
to be disrespectful.
Yes, and it's like that's not really like what it is. Like that's
I
not
need to
what
get a real daddy dom on here then.
You definitely should, so they can like actually explain like what.
Because that was like not a good reason for a daddy dom.
No, I just think he was like faking it. He didn't know what he was doing.
He didn't know what he was doing at all. That's embarrassing. Okay, yeah, let's get a real daddy dom on the pod. Get real accurate, like,
yes, hit her up.
People on the show.
Yeah, so that's how I found it, and then I've just been like listening like ever since. And then I like, you know, I've hit you up a couple of times. And then, I don't know, I just like became a listener because again, it's like relatable. You know what I mean? Like, even though it's been like, you've been doing this for like more like a few years now.
6 years.
Yeah. Like it's still been like relatable like the entire time versus I feel like a lot of these other podcasts, not to shade anybody, but a lot of these other podcasts have kind of like blown up over the past couple years. At some point they lose like
their likability or their like relatability.
Yes, like I can relate to a lot of these people because it's like they went from like, oh, you know, I'm like a regular person working a regular job, being, you know, just dating or whatever, to now it's like I'm a fucking influencer, and now I'm deep into like the industry, and I'm like, oh well,
that's
so is
like
everybody
my
else.
biggest fear, actually.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of what's held me back sometimes on like being bigger than like I want to be.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, obviously my goal is to have brocal therapy blow up and stuff like that. But like, I love the fact that like, even at this part, even if I'm not like a million listens or whatever, like I liked the fact that I'm still just like a normal person. Like, even if I become like a quote, I mean, I get like a quote unquote influencer, like I don't want to feel that way. Like I don't want to feel like an influencer. Like I don't even like to call myself that. I'm like, I'm just trying to survive like the rest of us. Like I
feel like there's a way to do it though, and if you like start something like this and you start it with like genuine like intentions, like, that's never gonna be the thing. But I feel like a lot of these people start it and they're like, especially now, it's like, oh, I know how big a podcast can get, I know how big this can go. So their ultimate goal is not to create this podcast to be relatable or to, you know, like build community with other people. It is literally to like blow up and then like live this lifestyle that like so many of us see on Instagram that it's like, bro, that's all bullshit. Like, that's not how easy shit is. And that's why I purposely choose real people. Like I don't purposely go out, because I could get like certain people that have a following and an influence, and I'm just like, I don't really give a fuck how many followers you have. Like I just want genuine people that I connect with that are real and have their own experiences, and like that's what's important to me, because I don't want to lose that, like not that I care about what everyone thinks, but I feel like that's what is like the core of this show, is that I want it to feel like we're real people, you know, me and my guests. Like I don't want to be like, you know, interviewing like fucking Selena Gomez or some shit. Just be like, okay, this is a pop culture. Like it just becomes like a different thing, you know? And I want real people. Yeah, and I think you've done a great job at that, but like don't let that also like stop you from growing it and like going after like, you know, bigger things, because maybe like, I don't know, honestly, like who really wants to hear about Selena Gomez? Love her. I'm a big supporter of her music. If she was willing to be like super vulnerable about what she's been through, like that's the thing, is like I don't like, even if they are huge and I still feel connected to them, I'm okay with that too. Like I'm not gonna be like super anti because you're a celebrity. It's just, do I have a connection with you? Can I relate to you? Can people learn something from this? Like, that's what matters, no matter the status of who you are. Yeah, because I mean, regardless of like whatever your status is, I feel like we all struggle with something. Where, you know, and it's like the aspect of like being vulnerable and putting like your shit out there, like that's really like the scary part that I feel like a lot of people start to lose, where they start off really strong in the beginning. It's like, you're going to be vulnerable. Why? Because like, you don't have a big following, or you don't have a lot of listeners, or whatever it may be. And then as things grow and progress, now it's like, I'm not going to share that because like, you know, like blah, 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 for whatever reason, which like, again, I respect it, but then I feel like it loses a little bit of like, well, that's the reason why you gained me as a listener or as a subscriber. It's because you were this real person, and now you just kind of put a facade up of like, I'm only going to give you like bits and pieces. And if I ever get like that, let me know, Jane Doe. I will tweet you. Be like, you're like, girl, this episode was not it. This was not relatable. You were acting a little too up your ass here. Yes. Stephanie, why are you talking about the 10th Chanel bag you've bought? Like, I can't even buy one. Right. Bitch. Nobody cares. We don't relate to that. No, we don't. And also, it's like, bro, who cares? If I want to see the shit that people are buying, the cars people are fucking driving, I'll go on Instagram for that. Or on YouTube. I don't give a shit about that. Like, I want to hear how people like got to that point and how you're able to get to that point and still be a real fucking person. Yeah, it's all about being like real fucking person on this show. Yeah, just like be honest. Like there's nothing that I respect more than a person who shows up as who the fuck they are, regardless of whether that's, you know, good or bad. Like just at least be like, own who you are, own up to it, own up to your mistakes, and just like choose to be better. I hate a person who comes around and pretends to be like Little Miss Sunshine. Right. And then like they're not really like that. You know what I mean? Like I don't
That's
like
Hollywood
a
for
two-faced.
you.
Yes, like I don't like a two-faced person. I've never been a person that's gonna pretend just because this person knows that person, they can get me into like this store. Like I'm not gonna do that. I don't care enough. And I feel like when you know what you're doing, when you're confident in yourself and your abilities, like eventually the work is gonna speak for itself.
Right.
So I don't
I
care
agree.
to associate with people just because like, oh my God, who do you know? Like I don't care.
You're from LA.
I'm from LA, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm from LA too. That's why we have that kind of mindset, because we
Yes.
are surrounded by people that care about that, and like the real locals that like really grew up here
Yes.
are just kind of like, yo, fuck this other shit. Like we really like proudly say like like this is not what life is about, you know?
If there's
like,
one fucking thing that like, bro, I'm sorry, and there's like some of my friends are transplants and I love them to death, but I fucking hate LA transplants. I am so sorry. Please go back to where you were from. Matter of fact, if you left LA during the pandemic, don't come back. Stay wherever you are.
There's some
because they
there's
talk
some that
so
are
much
great.
shit.
There's some that are great, but there's some that are just like that. I'm just like you are the definition of an LA transplant.
Yes,
you know?
I mean, but then it's like the people who are great are very, very few.
Right,
and
very few.
I've never met more LA people than people who are not from LA. Like, and
yeah,
everybody.
It's the people from not LA that act like the LA stereotype, because the people that actually are from LA, like me and you, we're just kicking it. Like, it's
like, bro, we're just chilling. This is like regular life to us. I'm not over here trying to like get to know my fucking neighbor because he has like 10K followers and he can like, you know, it's like everybody in LA is trying to break it into the industry. Plain and simple. Every single person you meet,
my neighbor is an actor. Like,
bro, like, yeah, like my neighbor, I have a lot of my neighbors do music, and that's what they're doing,
right?
You know, and it's like because of where I live, like that's normal. That's gonna come with the territory. But I fucking hate when these people who are not from here, okay, who moved here because you wanted to be here, then go on the internet and just talk shit about LA and the people from LA. And I'm like, first off, you don't even know anybody from actually LA. Everybody else that you associate with are also transplants. They don't know the actual culture, and the whole reason why you guys are here to begin with, it's because of people like us who are actually from here. Like, we've created this fucking culture. We've created this fucking community, but yet the transplants will come in here and not associate with people like us because, well, we can't get them anything. And it's like, everybody in LA is so fake. No, bitch, you're the fake one. Like, you're the fake one.
There's a lot of people that talk shit about LA that like come as a transplant,
and that's
like,
what bothers me.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's not. You're looking at the wrong people. You just interacted with the wrong people.
Yes,
but
it's like you build your opinion based off of people who are not an actual representation of what LA is.
Yeah,
like LA is not. I don't know what's the trendy freaking cafe now. It used to be Earth back in my day.
Oh, my Earth Cafe was the shit.
I still miss their matcha. I haven't been in like
I love
a
their
while.
matcha
Their matchas,
boba.
yes, their
So
matcha is some of the
good.
best matcha I've ever had. But it's like, bro, like that's not LA. You know what LA is? LA is the fucking hot dog that you get after like the fucking sleazy bar that you were out with your friends
outside the
night.
Virgil.
Yes, exactly. Outside fucking Cha-Cha Lounge.
Yes,
okay, shout out to Cha-Cha.
Shout out to Cha-Cha Lounge.
Honestly, rest in peace, Cha-Cha, because it is not the same anymore
It's
after
not
the
the same?
pandemic. No,
Have
I
you
went
been?
once, and I was like, I'm never going back. I'm so sorry.
How was it?
The people was just weird. Like, the music was off, the vibe was off, the
Because you
people
know
were
the thing about the Cha-Cha Lounge though is it's only good on specific days.
Yeah, that's true. But also, you know what? I think I'm getting too old.
That too.
Because everybody there, I was like, oh my God, I know you're a TikToker. Like, I know you're Gen Z. Like, fuck. Like, what am I doing here?
That's crazy. Is that when we go out and go to those places, it's like the Gen Z younger generation. Like, because it used to be. Sorry, my cat.
No, you're totally fine.
And like we used to be like the crowd, but now it's like younger
people.
And it's crazy that like in just 2 years of the pandemic, like so much of that has changed.
Yes.
Because how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 28.
28.
28.
And I'm 31, and I'm old.
Yeah, I feel old too. Especially being around like even like a 23-year-old. I'm like, oh my God, you're such a baby. Like, I remember myself being like that age. Even like the 21, 23-year-olds, it's just so fucking different that I'm like, you guys make me feel old. Right. I shouldn't be at the bar anymore. I'm going to go home now. Because like,
I think I'm just tired.
I mean, yeah, that too. I'm always tired.
I'm really just tired. Like, there's just no excuse for it. Like, I'm just like, I'm okay with being home.
I want to get fucked up, like, in my, like, honestly, one of my favorite things to do nowadays, it's like, okay, before, I used to be like, you meet up with your friends and you'd have a shot or two. It's like, all right, we gotta go. Like, we're gonna go to the club.
And you call the Uber.
Yes, you call the Uber. You do this or whatever, right? And it's like, now I feel like some of like the funnest nights that I've had in like the last couple of years have been like, I go over to like one of my friend's house. We get together. We get like fucked up at their house, and it's like we end up fucking either singing karaoke all fucking night till somebody falls asleep, or like we go with the intention of like hanging out in the house, and then they're like randomly we're like, all right, fuck it, let's just like go to this like bar, and then we go for like an hour, and we're like,
wait, that's like way more social than me. Like, that sounds fun. Okay, I don't even do that.
I do that like every like blue moon.
Like, I don't remember the last time I've like just pre-gamed and went somewhere. Like, if I'm like drinking and kicking with someone, it's because it's for the show. Like, outside the show, like, I'm literally in bed asking my boyfriend what movie he wants to watch on Netflix, and we're gonna play a movie on Netflix. Like,
but okay, that's like cute because you're doing with your boyfriend, but like I don't have that privilege because my dude works such like crazy fucking hours.
Oh, okay.
Like, he's been out of town for the past 3 weeks.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Where is he?
He's in Miami. He's at work. He's working in Miami.
In Miami.
Yeah, he's in Miami. I know, it's been 3 weeks. Motherfucker.
Are you okay?
I swear to God, you better fucking come home or I'm going to kick your ass.
I was going to say, you're a crazy girlfriend.
In recovery, thank you very much. Okay. In recovery, I'm not as crazy as I used to be once, and I think he can attest to that, but I used to be a fucking crazy psychotic bitch.
Why? Let's like unpack this.
I think a lot of insecurity.
Where is it stemming from? This is therapy. This is brokegirl therapy.
Wow. Are you trying to make me cry? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna
like,
cry.
Where does this insecurity come from? The fact that you feel like
I think the reason it was because we started dating at a really young age.
Okay.
And I come from like a very overprotective like family. Right? Like, I'm like the oldest, like I'm the oldest daughter. My parents are really like traditionally Mexican. Like, I wasn't allowed to like fucking go anywhere.
Sorry, my cat just wants to cuddle.
Totally okay. Like, I wasn't allowed to go anywhere. And if I was going to go somewhere, like, I had to be home at like 11. I'm like, Mom, I'm leaving at 9. I'm going to be there for an hour. She's like, bitch, I don't care. You better be back by 11. So it was very overprotective versus on his end, he's always had a lot of freedom. He's the baby of the family. His siblings are older. His mom worked a lot, so he's had a lot of freedom. Where he was kind of free to like go out and do whatever the fuck he wanted, and I couldn't do that. Like, I still had to be home. So it was like he was around a lot of girls all of the fucking time. My boyfriend is 6'4". He's skinny. He's super nice. You know what I mean? So it's like I know what girls are looking for. Because I'm a girl and I knew what I was looking for and it was him. Right. He's also very oblivious. I feel like I don't want to label him as like a nice guy because like he's also an asshole. When he needs to innocent. Be. Yeah. No. But I feel like he is very oblivious of when women want something out of him. So he used to tend to put himself in very questionable situations because he's like, what do you mean? Like, that's just who they are. And I'm like, no, like,
they're trying to fuck.
Yes, she's trying to fuck you. You're crazy. Who would want to fuck me? All these girls, bro.
Right.
So I feel like that was kind of a lot of like where my insecurities stem from. Also, I used to be like I'm still kind of antisocial, but when I was younger, before I was like 21, I used to be very much like on my high horse, like fuck that bitch, I'm not gonna talk to her because like she's a whore, you know what I mean? Right. So I didn't really like mesh well with like his group of friends when we would meet, because again, like I was very shy at that point. Like I didn't know that I had like fucking social anxiety, so like I just thought it was like me being a bitch or blah 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 because I didn't like talking to new people, I didn't like meeting new people. So I think that's a lot of like where like my
How old were you guys when you first started dating?
I was 15, he was 17.
Okay. Because I have a best friend who's been dating her man. We're now 31. She's been dating now husband since they were 15. She lost her virginity to him and everything. And like, of course, from 15 to now 31.
Yeah.
As all of us could agree, like we've been through so many phases of our lives. Like we've probably were like 3 different people in that time of your life.
Oh, 100%.
You know? And so there's a lot of just like, obviously the hormones and growing and like making mistakes and all this stuff. So there's just like so many things that happened. And she's listening. You know, you were crazy. Like she was like, would chase him down the freeway type of shit. Like,
oh, fuck.
Like literally would show, like she would do the most.
Dude, I showed up to I was sick for like a weekend, right? And my boyfriend like didn't check up on me. Like he called me and I was like, dude, I'm dying. Like I'm super sick. And then he was like, damn, like that sucks, blah, blah, blah. 3 days went by. This motherfucker like did not once check up on me. Like he'd call me and be like, hey, what's up? And then it's like, okay, gotta go because I'm busy doing this, right?
Yeah.
So I showed up at his house because he said he had family over. So I was like, you're lying. So I'm just gonna pop up. I used to do pop-ups all the time. So I popped up at his house. He wasn't with family. He was with his friends. And I was like, bet. I fucking lost my shit in front of like his friends. I had just given him a watch. I forgot what I had given him a watch. Fucking threw the watch into the middle of the pool. Like, went fucking crazy on him.
Yeah.
I remember once we were supposed to like go somewhere when I got out of work. And then he's like, hey, like we're here, but like the line's really long. You just worked. I don't know if you want to come. So I was like, okay, that's fine.
So
I'm going to go home.
You've been in love with this guy since you were like 15?
Since I was 15.
Wow.
Yeah. Like we met super randomly. Like I met him through a friend of mine in high school. We met through like MySpace. And then he was like adding me. And I was like, do I fucking know you? And then he was he's like, hey, like, no, you don't know me, but like, I'd really like to get to know you. And like from the gate, he was like flirting and doing all of it, like calling me babe. And I was like, whoa there, like no. Yeah, like we're not anything more. And then we started talking as friends, and we would talk like 24/7 at that point, like fucking texting. I didn't tell my friends who he was for like months till like finally whatever we started dating. So I've been with him for like a really long time, and I feel like I was just super crazy when I was younger because I didn't know who I was. It's a difficult time to be like a teenager, and you're trying to figure out like who you are, and then now you're attached to this person who's also trying to do the same thing. That I feel like we've been through so much in the time that we've been together that we like to like, we like to say like, yes, technically we've only been in one relationship, but we've been with each other at different times in our lives that it feels like this is my ex from blah, blah, blah. And it's like the same fucking person.
Right.
Because every time that we've like decided like, let's give each other space before we come back together because we need to grow, like we come back and we're like different people.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, I think at this point, oh my God.
So how are you guys like now? Because you've been dating since you were 15. You went through like, you came back and forth to one another. Like, where are you guys at now? You're living together.
Yes, we've been living together for some time now, and we're in a healthy place where I feel like the thing about dating somebody for so freaking long is the fact that like, there's always constantly something like,
right.
It's not that it's unstable, but there's always something there where at some point you build this like really deep friendship with somebody that aside from being their partner, you're more than anything like best friends, and you want the best for them. And sometimes what's best for them isn't necessarily what you want.
Of course.
So you can either... And I don't believe that, like, oh, I'm in love. It's like a thing. I genuinely, at this point, believe that love is a choice. You wake up every day and you choose the person that you're with.
Oh, for sure.
Because 1,000 times, like, yeah, he's, like, we've both done things that were like, bro, if somebody would have told me that I'd be okay with this, like, I wouldn't have believed them. But at this day, it's like, I know who he is. He knows who I am. And when things get tough, like, there's this level of, like, security that it's like, oh, we're going to figure it out. Because, like, we figured everything else out.
Right, you've been through fucking A, B.
Bro, everything. Like,
everything.
We've been through everything from, like, just the normal, everyday.
From 15 to now 28, like, you've been through everything. Like,
everything.
So much happens at that, like, phase in your life, especially your 20s.
Yeah.
is like
especially early 20s. Like
early 20s is sloppy, it's messy, it's emotional. No one knows how to handle their emotions like
at all.
Everyone's just a hoe. Like you just like make so many like mistakes, but the fact that you guys are able to like overcome that's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely a beauty in it. It hasn't been easy. It's not something that I would like, right? Like my younger sister is 20. I wouldn't recommend her like, get into this like long-term relationship, because I think that I don't think it's not for everybody.
It's not for everyone. Because for me, I could not be with the same person I was with since I was 15. Like I did have a boyfriend from 15 to 20 years old. And I'm like, I mean, there's no shade to him, but like, I just feel like I can't do that. Like I needed to date everybody before I like settled down. And if it was him, whatever. But like I some people like with you and like one of my best friends, like it's what works for you guys.
Like I don't even know how to explain it, because it doesn't even feel like I've been with the same person for so long.
It was like different phases. Yeah.
It was different phases, and we both went into
Which
this.
Which is fair, because we live like 9 different lives.
Yes, and I think that like the reason why like we've been able to make it this long is because at the end of the day, like we've always had this agreement where it's like we're gonna give each other space to grow. Right. Whatever that means, like we're gonna give each other the space to grow and to be like your individual fucking like self, you know? So I get to be selfish in my relationship, and so does he. And yes, sometimes that causes like, you know, rifts between us, but at the end of the day, it's like, no worries. It's like what works for us. You know what I mean? And it's like we never went into this thinking like we're going to be together forever and ever.
Of course not. Like, you're like, yeah.
To us, this was like a fuck around. Like, we didn't go to the same high school. We didn't know the same people. We're like, oh, fuck it. You know, just like have fun. And then like slowly but surely, like, fuck, we've been together for 2 years. Fuck, we've been together for 3, 5, 7. And then when we hit 7, I was like, holy fuck. Like, bro, I need to go. Like, I need to go. Like, I love you. You're doing great. But like, I need to go and like find myself. So we took a year off. We still communicated throughout the entire time, like cheering each other on with what we were doing. And then,
so at that time, how old were you?
I was turning 23. I think we broke
that's
up.
Fair. Early 20s.
May. We broke up in May or June. One of those 2 dates. And then I was turning 23. And I just went fucking crazy. Like, I was like, all right, we're done. I'm single for some of my fucking life.
Which is good. Like, I felt like you needed to get something out of your system.
Yes, I think that was the point, and I think for him it caught him very off guard. But he was like, "All right, fuck it, whatever. If it's
whatever is meant to be yours will be yours." So the fact that you were able to still come together and like work on things and be able to like compromise, and you know, like that's important.
Yeah, like I think this relationship has more than anything taught me, where it's like fuck learning how to compromise. Where I'm like, I'm not very good at that. Like I'm not very selfish. It's like me, myself, and I, and it's like I want this, and if you're not gonna give it to me, like then I'm not gonna give you what you want.
Right.
You know, and it's like at this point I'm like, well, the whole fucking saying of like, well, how do you know you love someone? You just know when they're the one.
It's very, like, because it's like very unconditional. It's not like, it's not a feeling when you love somebody.
It's not like it's
when you really truly love someone. It's not just a feeling. It's not butterflies. It's like
it feels okay. Like when we were younger, right? Like I used to be able to like share my feelings with him with no problem.
Right.
Like I could write him a fucking love poem and be like, yeah, it's totally cool. Now that I'm like, oh shit, like shit is real. Thinking about my feelings for him or like saying that to him feels the same way that like telling my mom I love her, where it's like it makes me emotional. Cause I'm like, oh, this is so uncomfortable because it's like such a huge big thing for me. That like
but you're a Cancer. You should be feeling everything. Can we pause? I have to fucking piss.
Yeah, sure, go.
Like I'm like holding in my fucking pee. Like it like hurts. Like my fucking vagina hurts right now. Hold on.
I don't know what it is. I am a Cancer.
You're a Cancer because you have a lot of feelings, but the trauma is what's helping. Is not, you know, is the part where it's difficult for you to process it.
Being vulnerable is really hard for me because I view emotions as weakness.
You're being vulnerable right now.
Yeah, but like people don't know me, so it doesn't matter to me.
You're Jane Doe.
I'm Jane Doe. Nobody knows who the fuck I am. You guys don't know what my life
is like. You can't look her up.
you're not going to take advantage of. I'm like, oh my God, I love you so much. You're going to take advantage of that. You don't know who I am. But it's like telling somebody that I like genuinely feel that way about. It's like, oh my God, like I would literally do anything for you. Feels like the most like craziest shit to me like ever in the world. I think know.
Are your parents immigrants?
Yeah.
I think it's like an immigrant thing because even like my parents was just like, well, specifically my mom, not my dad, because my dad's an emotional wreck. But my like mom is like very like cold. They can't really show emotions because it's just like things will fall apart. Things will be weakness. Kind of like Encanto. Have you watched Encanto?
Yes. Girl, it is Encanto.
Encanto.
There you go.
Encanto.
She got it. Not Encanto.
Encanto.
Sorry, guys. That was Megan speaking, not Stephanie.
That was Megan speaking.
That was the whitest shit you've ever done on the show.
Whitest I'm so embarrassed. Encanto.
Yeah, I did, right? Where it's like, okay,
you
like
can't like how like Abuela like couldn't show like her emotions because she really had to keep the house and the gifts all together.
Yes.
Like it's very common, like even in the Filipino community, it's very common to be like that, where it's like you have to like keep it together because things will fall apart.
Yeah, because then I feel like if I unravel one emotion, I'm gonna have to unravel all of them, and it's like I literally don't have the time to do this.
You don't have time.
No,
you do not.
I have
time.
like I have to fucking do A, B, C. I have a whole to-do list to get to, so I just feel like
you can't stop and just cry about something.
No,
but it's okay.
She's really trying to make me cry.
I do.
That is not gonna happen. I can count in like one hand the amount of people who have ever seen me cry in my life.
But like everyone cries on this. No, actually, I am the only person that cries on this show.
I'm trying to think. I'm like, I don't think I've ever heard anybody cry other than you. No, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I think when people are vulnerable and I think when people are open about their feelings, I admire. And I'm like, that's, like, beautiful. I think that's great. I wish that I could, like, do it or that it came naturally or easy to me.
Right.
But to be very frank, like, it doesn't. Like, and I'm not saying that, like,
You're not a cold person. But here's the thing. You show love in a different way because people have different love languages, right? We'll get into the whole love languages thing.
Yeah, like, I feel like the way that I show love is I'm a very reliable person. Right. I'm always going to have like, yes, like I show up for people. I'm always going to have people's back. I'm always going to be like, if you're fucking up, I'm going to tell you, hey, guess what? Like you're fucking up.
Like, hey, guess what? I don't like your guests on this show.
Yes. Like, hey, guess what? This is a really bad idea. And then when I found out they were actually dating, I was like, abort mission, girl. I've been there. Don't do it. Trust me. This is not going to work out the way that you want it to work out. It's going to be bad.
Told me you're like, I think I like took a break for a moment. And you're like, why are you taking a break? It's because you moved in with him or something like that.
Bro, because, okay, hold on. You had tweeted something about how you were moving. And then that's when I was like, yeah. And then I was like, oh my God. I was like, are you moving in with your dude? And then you were like, oh, no. I was like, oh my God, thank God. Because like, oh God, that would be so fucking bad. Right? And it's like, I don't know what it is. I feel like I have a really good, like, whenever I meet somebody, it's like an automatic thing for me. It's like either I like you or I don't like you. The best way that I could describe it, which apparently it's not like this for everybody. I found out by like one of my friends. She's like, bitch, what? Like, that's fucking weird. I'm like, you don't get that same feeling? She's like, no, I literally like don't process like meeting people like that. Right. Do you remember in Spy Kids where they're wearing those glasses? Okay. And then they see somebody and it gives them like all the facts. And it's like red or green.
Oh, yeah.
That's literally what it's like for me. Yeah. When I meet somebody, even like, and I don't need to meet them like face to face, right? Like it has to be like.
You can just hear their voice.
I can like hear them or like something that they say in my head at all. Like it goes green or red. Red means do not trust this person, abort. They're not. No, I'm not going further than this with this person. Versus green, it's like, okay, cool. Like, we like this person. Give them a chance. Right. Let's go further. And it takes a lot for me to, like, trust. One of my friends has a joke that he's like, she's going to hate everybody she meets for the first 2 weeks. And then you need to prove yourself to her, and then she's either going to like you or she's going to fucking hate you. I'm the complete opposite.
I'm like, I like you until you prove me wrong.
See, that's crazy. I don't have that much trust in people.
I do wish though I was like you because I would have avoided so many situations, you know? Like I would have avoided a lot.
I think when I really followed my heart, it got me into a really fucked up situation when I was young that was enough for me. And I was like, not going to do this again.
Yeah. I mean, how you grow up is totally, completely the reason why you are the way you are.
I mean, yeah, it was like the first guy that I ever truly had like a fucking crush on. I was like, oh my God, like I'm going to marry him. We're going to have babies. Like this is going to be great. It's like the love of my life, right? I was like a fucking child. It was puppy love.
Yeah.
I totally went with my feelings, despite all the red flags, despite everything that was being done and said to me, and like literally like in my face, like walking down the fucking hall with another girl. I was like, no, it's okay. Like, it's okay. Like, there's a reason for this. That I just made so many excuses that at the end, when like shit blew up in my face, I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do this again. Like, clearly my feelings are not to be trusted. So like,
you learned quickly, because for me, I feel like over and over and over and over again that I had to go to literally the worst person, which was Morgan, to like finally learn my lesson of like, oh, that's not how you should be treated, Steph. Like, that's not, like,
so I feel like, you know, like going back to your question of like, well, where did that like craziness with like your current boyfriend come from when you were younger? It's the first guy that I ever had feelings for,
right?
Because I was kept a secret. It was like he would walk around with his girlfriend and everything was all dandy and fine and cute. And then we'd be on the phone till 3, 4 in the morning, and he'd be telling me, you know, super vulnerable with me, super manipulative. I'm so depressed and I fucking hate my life and this and that. That I like, to me, I was like, oh my God, like I'm the one he loves, because like he comes and he like opens his feelings.
We've all been there.
Yes. And then that's when I learned that like, oh, people can use your feelings for them, like against you. Like,
you learned quick. That's a thing. That's good. You learned quick.
Yes.
Some people takes longer. For me, it just took like about like 30 years.
I feel like I learned, but I feel like I learned in a very unfair way. I had no choice. It was like I was forced to fucking learn that lesson very quickly, to the point where I feel like it wasn't fair to me, because I didn't get to have like that young, fun kind of date around, learn like a different lesson with every person that you meet. I feel like I learned everything like boom, first one right there, and like bitch, it fucking like hurt, right?
But I feel like that. Why? What's wrong with that?
I don't think there's something like necessarily wrong. I just feel like if I wouldn't change anything of like where I'm at now or like in my life, but I do feel like I wish there would have been like a point of contact for me at that point to realize that the shit that I was going through at that point in my life was not okay. And it took me years, right? Like it took me like going to therapy and like nonchalantly like mentioning like that situation to my therapist, and then she was like,
let's talk about that.
Yeah,
that
like
let's
dig deeper into that. And I was like, well, what do you mean? She's like, is this what you said? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, yeah, that's not normal. And I'm like, what do you mean that's normal? She's like, no, that's like not normal. Like that's like you were like a fucking victim of abuse. And I was like,
oh no,
fuck abuse? Like I was not a victim of abuse. Like, bro,
no one ever wants to. Yeah, I get that.
Because to me, I'm like, well, my, like, whatever that was, right, didn't look like what the movies look like. Or TV shows. Where you think
it's, like, the whole extreme thing, but it's, like, there's different layers to what abuse can look like.
100%. Like, 100%. And it's, like, again, this is, like, something that I've talked to, like, very few people. But, yeah, like, that shit was bad. And looking back now, I'm like, bro, like, I don't blame myself for it, because I was young. I didn't know any better.
Right.
But I'm like, why didn't I tell anybody? Like, nobody knew that, like, the shit was going on. I was just like, it's okay, because, like, he loves me, and, like, he's here telling me his feelings and, like, how important I am to him. Like, so this is okay. So I feel like I had to learn a lot of lessons with that person. And it's, like, also it wasn't even fucking fair, because he wasn't even my boyfriend. Like, I didn't even get, like, I didn't get the hand holding. He didn't walk me to class. He was walking his fucking girlfriend in class. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't get to fucking kiss and shit. Like, all of that stuff that, like, comes with, like, part of, like, a deep, like, your first deep connection. So I feel like that really jaded me, like, going forward, like, with the idea of, like, men and relationships. And also, like, growing up, like, men were never... My mom's a very, very big feminist. So I grew up, like, with a super strong woman in my life who always told me, like, men ain't shit. Right. So I grew up with that idea, like, men ain't shit. So then when I let a man be shit, I was like, oh, this is terrible.
Right.
Abort mission. I'm not doing this shit again. Like, I learned my lesson.
So, okay, so your mom had, like, a huge impact on that.
Very, very big impact. My mom is one of, like, my best friends.
So, is your dad still... You don't have to get to take...
No, my dad's still in my life.
Okay.
They're still together. They've been together for...
But she's still like, men ain't shit.
Yeah, but my mom's still like, men ain't shit.
Right.
Your dad ain't shit. My dad himself taught me that men ain't shit. They're going to try and do that and blah, 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 blah. And they ain't shit. Don't believe him. And I was like, you know what? y'all are onto something. Because
but that's good though, because I feel like a lot of us do kind of go through that like cycle with, you know, abuse or just like ain't shit men. And it takes a minute to like learn something. So I think that like you should be, I mean, I'm sure you are proud, but I'm proud of you for like,
thank you.
Still like learning that quickly. Like if anything, like I'm in awe because I'm someone that like takes a while to like learn a lesson.
Yeah. I will say though,
it's not my,
Yeah. Like, I think we all learn the same lessons in different stages. Just based on like who you are as a person. It's always going to be different. It's never going to look the same. And I think that's something that I've really learned where I'm like, okay, like my lesson is not going to look the same as somebody else's, but they're still learning the same lesson. Right. And no matter what people tell you and how much your friends are like, don't do this or don't do that, you're never going to listen to them until you're ready to listen to them.
I always give advice. I'm just like, I don't even know if they're going to listen to me. At the end of the day, we'll tell you the truth. The friends are here to tell you the truth, but you're going to learn on your own.
Yes. Yeah. You do. And you'll make the same, like sometimes, you know, some people need to make the same mistake over and over again. But I will say, like, I am very lucky that the next person that I was with, that's, you know, my current partner, was very great. Because I feel like I could have very easily ended up with somebody.
The same cycle.
Yes, the same cycle over and over again. And I think with him, it was just, like, such a breath of fresh air that I do think I was really lucky. Yeah. Because I was in such a vulnerable place and he never once, like, took advantage of, like,
your vulnerability.
Yes, it's like my vulnerability, even though if like even till this day I'm like, I don't know about like sharing all my feelings. You know what I mean? But it's like you said,
he looks at you as a person. It respects you and loves you as who you are, everything that you are.
Yes, and that's a thing where it's like I've never had to pretend to be anything more than like who I actually am in my relationship. Yeah. Which is like one of probably like my favorite things about my relationship is I've never had to pretend. Even when I was fucking from the gay where I was like I was fucking crazy, and he was never like, oh my god, you're like fucking insane, you know, like he was always very understanding.
He like validated your feelings.
Yes, so he's very good at doing that. And I don't know, like it's just been we've been together for so long now that I'm like, fuck, at this point everything just kind of seems smushed together. But I mean,
I think that's what makes a good relationship is like you have your flaws and like you have someone who's like, I recognize your flaws. Like I'm gonna validate you on your flaws and like let's work together on like building this relationship regardless of who you are and your flaws. Yes. You know, like that's like what's important versus like how they look and what size dick they have. You know what I mean? It's like it's like deeper than that shit, you know?
Yes, 100%. I feel like especially nowadays, right? Like I did the whole online dating for a little bit and like being on the scene, and I'm just like, bro, like people have this like false idea that there's always something better out there, and the idea of like the grass is greener. And again, I fucking hate cliches, but Jesus, the older you get, the more these cliches be making sense because
I hate
the grass is like always greener where you water it. And it is so true because if there's something that I like, one of the biggest kind of like aha moments that I've had like in therapy, I was talking about like my relationship to my therapist, you know, and I was like, why does this feel so like this or that, or like it feels so hard, and why is there so much shit to like work on all the time, blah, blah, like shouldn't it just be easy? No. And then she's like, no, when it's real and there's an emotional depth to it, it's never easy. And then that's when I was like, oh fuck, so the reason why it seems easier with people that you don't really know, right? And this, again, this doesn't just go for intimate relationships. It goes for friendships and all sorts of, you know, work relationships, whatever it may be. It's because once somebody really gets to know you and you really get to know that person, it gets complicated. Because people have flaws and people make mistakes.
That's so true.
And people come with their own fucking baggage that I was like, oh shit. So no matter what, like, I'm going to keep making, right? Like these patterns of mine are going to keep popping up, because then she started pointing it out. Like, this isn't just a pattern that you have in your intimate relationship. You have it with your family, and you have it with your friends, and you have it at work. That I was like,
saying, like relationships, like it's like how you are with like even once like a friendship, or like it's all kind of the same in different versions, if that makes sense. Yeah, like you kind of have the same type of pattern.
Yeah, it's the same type of pattern. The same things hurt your feelings. Yeah. It just feels so much more detrimental when it's like an intimate relationship, because society makes us believe like you're supposed to find a one, and this is supposed to be like, yeah, like your perfect one, your soulmate, you're this, and it's going to be easy.
It's easy in a sense of like where like when people say easy, because sometimes I do say like it should be easy, like it, because compared to like dating a fuck boy, and when you date someone who actually is there for you, like you feel like you know it. It's easy in that sense where you don't have to question. But it's not easy when obviously you get closer and you have life happens and you have to deal with each other's flaws and what you're going through. Like that is not easy. So I just want to clarify that, because like,
yes, like I feel like a relationship should never make you question who you are as a person.
right.
It should never make you feel like you're not enough. And in the sense of like easy, I think I agree with what you're saying, Brian. It's like the idea of like, oh, things should just be easy. No, things are never going to be easy, but things should also not make you question who you are as a person.
Right. Because like
it shouldn't be scary. Like it shouldn't be scary. Like the reason why, like, for example, you'll use the word like it's, you know, loving somebody should be easy. It's that easiness comes from trusting the person that you're with and a level of security. It's easy in the sense that although you're scared to bring your feelings up to them, you feel safe enough to bring it up to them, and you know that they're not going to fucking explode in rage.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's easy enough where you know that they accept you, but what you're going through is not easy. If that makes sense.
Yes, like the challenges.
Right.
There will always be challenge. Loving somebody is challenging, but
you should never question that they love you.
Yes. No matter what, like there shouldn't be fear around going up to somebody and expressing their feelings because you're afraid of their reaction. It shouldn't be like, fuck, well, maybe I won't tell them this because if I tell them that they're going to get upset, and if they get upset, then, you know, they're going to start breaking shit. Like, things like that. Like, there should never be a fear of the other person's emotions getting the best of them to the point where you don't feel safe.
Right.
I think for me, and I think a lot of this has to do with me being a Cancer, safety is a really, really big thing.
No, no matter what sign you are, safety is 100% what it should be. You should always feel safe with the person that you're with.
Yeah. Like,
in every way.
Yes. And that there's a level of trust that like you need to have with that person, that if you can't trust that person in a moment of like if, for example, right, like if you don't feel comfortable going out and partying with the person that you're with because you're afraid of their reaction of you getting drunk, or how they're going to handle you or something like that, that's a really big problem.
Or what they would do behind your back.
Exactly. Right? Or I just feel like the trust and security that comes when you know somebody and you've built with that person is something that like I can't quantify it into like words, because it's not like a feeling, but it's also not like something that I can describe. It's just your body knows, like your body. And again, I don't know if you've ever heard the book, like The Body Keeps the Score.
No, I don't read.
Okay. Girl, they got an Audible for it.
They got a podcast for it.
That should be a really great podcast.
Yeah.
About that book. But essentially it means like our brains are designed to make you survive. So really traumatic things, your brain will shut them down, right? Yeah. But your body won't, which is why sometimes you have very physical reactions to certain situations. That's why
anxiety is a thing.
Yes.
Anxiety is really just 100%. It's really just for you. It's to save you.
Yeah, because your body is reacting to something that has happened to them in the past that didn't end up well.
Or it's the unknown.
Or that, right? Yeah. I totally forgot where the fuck I was going with this.
I don't know either. I'm pretty drunk. But you were going on something. You were
I was on to
something.
Preaching. I was on to something.
Love. We were talking about love.
We were talking about love and right? Okay, like no, like this trust, right? Where like your body is gonna know. That's where I was going with it.
Okay, there we go.
There's a book called The Body Keeps the Score, or Your Body Keeps the Score, something like that, which is essentially, it talks about trauma and the way that our body stores trauma in different parts of us. And even though your brain is designed to forget it, to make you keep going, your body is going to remember it. So the feeling of feeling safe with somebody or trusting somebody, it's not necessarily like a feeling or like an emotion rather than a feeling, an emotion or something I can really describe. It's something that your body knows.
100%. I agree with you. Like
this, like,
because it's not the butterflies.
No,
it's not the like, ooh, it's not like this happy, giddy feeling. Like it's beyond that, because that shit is temporary. But when you just feel like relaxed,
it's like relief.
Like I even had like someone comment on my YouTube being like, I could tell you loved like Morgan more than you loved Brian. But it's like, no, what they're looking at is because Morgan brought a lot of stress and this heightened, passionate, emotional person out of me versus Brian, where I feel safety, where it's just like,
there's no need to be fucking up there in like the adrenaline.
There's no adrenaline. It's just like, it's calming. It's like your body just feels safe. Yeah. Like you don't need to be like having to fight and show your emotions to prove something. Like it's really chill and zen.
Yeah, so. Literally. It feels like, and again, here I go with the cliches. I'm so sorry. Jesus. It feels like fucking home. You know when you've been gone in the hotel bed, it's like, yeah, it's really comfortable, but it's still not home. And then you finally get to come home.
And you're like,
and you're like, oh my God, thank God.
And that's exactly, it's just
that's what it is.
It's just like that, the relaxation that
it's
you
relief.
Have. It's relief.
It's relief. Like that's honestly like the best way that I could describe feeling safe and trusting somebody. It feels like a sense of fucking relief.
Yeah. And with my ex, it was always this like on edge feeling and this adrenaline, this intensity that just like thought that feeling was love because like it's intense. It's making me feel something. I'm like crazy, like I'm passionate, like this is love, you know. I'm getting butterflies. It's a feeling, but it's like not once did I feel just relaxed and zen and trusting and like didn't have to question, you know. Like that's the difference.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like I think it's like that fucking adrenaline rush, as fun as it is when it's going on, it's so fucking draining.
But it's not. It's draining, and it's good for a second. The adrenaline is good for a second because you have to learn something, and it's just when you're young and you have time and you have the energy to do it, that's when it's fun. But then you get to a point and you're just like,
that's not what you want anymore.
Right. You're like,
that's like, I think
I don't want to feel on edge all the time. Like I have other things to focus on. Like I don't need to focus on like,
it's like this bullshit. Fucking anxiety that like never ends. Ever.
Never.
Yeah. And it's honestly it's fucking exhausting. And I'm like, I don't want to feel that anymore. And it's like, again, like, you know, me and my partner, we had those moments where like it was constantly a fucking on edge. And it's like, fuck, if we get in an argument right now, and then it's like, is he gonna answer? Is he like, are we still gonna hang out tomorrow? Right? It's like this like anxiety driven thing that now I'm like, Jesus Christ, like I don't want to go through that shit. Like, right. I don't want that. No, that doesn't make me feel excited anymore. It doesn't make me feel good. Like I want to know in that, like, even if we have a disagreement at the end of the night, like we're still gonna fucking hang out and like watch fucking Netflix and like
exactly. You're gonna you're gonna overcome it.
Yes,
like it's okay. But it's just when you're on those like toxic relationships, it just feels like
it's a lot. Like again, like I don't want to fucking discredit because believe me, like I understand. Like I understand honestly, how addicting those shits are. It's like a fucking drug. But
I really think everyone should go through that type of love, though. I really do think that it's necessary for everyone to feel their own version of it. Yeah, because. Obviously, don't be addicted to it, but just have your own version of it because I think that's honestly, I think that's what's helped me appreciate like my boyfriend now, you know, because it's like, I think the old me would have not appreciated my boyfriend now because I would have been like, this is boring.
Yes.
You know, because there's this, when you're younger and you got time, you get addicted to this adrenaline and you just need to get out of your system. I think that's one of the things that people say, like, get out of your system before you like settle down with someone because it's just like you have to realize it gets nowhere.
Like it literally nowhere. If you're like, I understand why people stay in toxic relationships for so long because it's such a fucking hard cycle to break. But once you break and then you experience the other side of it, you're like
so like,
oh my God, thank God. Like, God, that was so exhausting. I'm so tired. I don't need to do this shit again. Like, thank God.
You realize like, oh, I don't have to be that. I don't have to deal with that anymore.
Yeah, like it sucks that like we all honestly like have to go through that shit to be able to appreciate it. But I mean, it comes with the territory.
Yeah, I think it's a good lesson. Like it's like a tough love kind of lesson that I think that we all need to learn.
I think it really teaches you to value yourself.
Yeah.
It like at the end of the day, I don't think like in that's toxic relationships, right? Like I think like, yeah, well, you're in it. You're so worried about the other person and the adrenaline, the ups and the downs and the fun, blah, 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 whatever. But I think that once you put some space and you kind of remove yourself and you let yourself kind of feel and understand what's going on, it really teaches you how to value yourself.
100%. Because after like me and my ex broke up, and it was like we weren't talking, and I was like processing the breakup and like the relationship, I like was just so like, I like learned so much about myself and about what love is. Like, it was such a like great lesson for me that I needed to learn. That's why I'm like, I suggest it to people, because I feel like that, what you're saying, like that point where you're kind of like, oh wait, I'm better than this shit. Like it felt, it's so like, it's like the best feeling ever.
Yeah, literally, like once you're fucking like removed from it and you're done with it, you're like, oh God, I'm so glad
like,
that
wait,
shit's
that
over
was
with.
like really fucked up that he did that. Why did I put up with that shit? Like,
it's like if you've never been in a toxic relationship, the best way that I could describe that feeling, right? It's like, you know, when you're on a roller coaster and you're going up, and you're like, oh, this feels kind of fun.
Yeah.
And
then
you're
like, ooh, the adrenaline, what's going to happen? We know we're going to dip, but like, it's fun anyway.
Yeah, it's because you're like getting there. And then once you get to that very, very top, you're like, holy shit, this feeling of the drop, oh, this is going to suck. Being in a toxic relationship literally feels like you are constantly on that fucking top.
Right.
Not even the getting to the top. Like, you're just sitting on that
You're
top.
You're waiting for it to drop, and you're just like,
and you don't know when it's going to happen.
You don't know what's going to happen. Yes. You're sitting there and you're waiting.
You're waiting and you're waiting and you're fucking waiting, and you're like, oh my God, and you're just so fucking nervous, and you're just like so ready to go, and you're like, oh my God, I just wanted to drop. But it never drops. You're just still fucking there. And it's like, okay, now at this point, like now I'm just like,
just drop.
Just please drop. Like you're looking forward to like the
like
drop.
I don't want to sit here anymore. Like I want to ride some other rides.
Yes. And then after your whatever next relationship that you get to, given it's not another toxic one, it feels like
learn a lesson.
You've already gone down to the fucking drop, and now you finally get to get off the roller coaster. That's what it feels like. You're back on fucking ground, and you're like, that's honestly like what it feels like. And that's honestly why I really like roller coasters. I have anxiety. I love the fucking feeling of adrenaline when it's there, but I love knowing that there's an end at the end of it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like there's an end to your anxiety at that point.
Yes, because it's like I'm choosing to feel this feeling. And it's going to end versus when
you don't know when it's going to end.
Don't know when it's going to end. You're like, oh, fuck me. Like, it's just like, I know they say that, right? This too shall pass, but it's like, God damn, it's taking a really long time to pass. Like,
yeah. I do like roller coasters. I grew up like next to Six Flags, so it's like I just grew up on that shit.
My boyfriend hates roller coasters.
Really?
Cannot stand them. Will not go on them.
Why?
I love like Six Flags, and I have never. Fuck, I think I was in high school last time that I went, and like we've never gone because he just does not like them.
Aw.
I don't know what it is about it. I think it's just like the uncertainty, the anxiety,
He's overthinking it.
Yeah, he's a Virgo, of course.
Oh yeah, he's fucking Virgos.
They never stop thinking, like ever.
I do love Virgos. I have a good amount of Virgos in my life, but yeah, they don't stop thinking.
I have no choice. I didn't choose the Virgos. The Virgos chose me. Even when him and
I'm a Cancer man. That's pretty tough.
That is very tough. But because yikes, Cancer are tough to be with.
They say like Aquarius and Cancers like don't mix, but I have so many people in my lives who are Cancers. Maybe because my moon or rising's Aries. I don't know.
Maybe. Well, because they say that Aries are just Cancers in leather jackets. No, wait, is that Scorpio?
No, that's Scorpio.
No, that's Scorpio.
Rose said that on the show.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. But Aries and Cancers tend to be very similar in the sense that they're both very fucking emotional.
Oh yeah, I feel like because my moon and risings are like I'm Aquarius, Aries.
Jesus.
So like I feel like I'm because compared to like other Aquarius, I feel like I'm so much more emotional. And it makes sense because of like Aries in me.
Yeah, because an Aries is what? A fire sign?
A fire. So it's just like passionate and emotional and just like.
Well, it's funny. Aquarius and Aries are supposed to get along very well. So that's actually like your signs.
They're complementary.
Oh, yeah, are very complementary. Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, I do get along with a lot of Aries too.
Yeah.
Like
that's an Aries.
Like I feel like on the surface I seem like really chill, but like underneath like I'm kind of like crazy and emotional. Like I will like start a fight with my boyfriend because I want to see him get mad. But, like, no one will know that on the surface.
She's still toxic, guys. She's still recovering.
We had a fight, like, last weekend. And, like, I was telling you, like, I got really drunk. And I was like, I want cigarettes. And, like, he just wouldn't let me. And I was, like, just in this mood to just, like, I don't know. I was, like, 2017 stuff was, like, coming out and, like, wanting to party.
It happens, yeah.
Right. It just happens. It's a pandemic. I've been, like, locked up in a minute, you know. So I was just wanting to just like do
have
crazy
fun and
have fun. And he was just like not feeling it because he's just like a grandpa.
Wants to chill.
Yeah, he just wants to chill. And
that's the thing with cancers. We love our comfort, and it's like, yeah, we'll get crazy and wild every now and then, but we really need to be in the mood.
So yeah, he has to be like a specific mood, but most of the time it's like he just wants to sleep. He just wants to chill, like smoke some weed and just chill. That's it. And I just like, I don't know. I just like was being like bratty and just like starting a fight with him just because I wanted a reaction.
Yeah.
And then like the next morning we had a conversation and I had to just like apologize because I was like, I'm better, but like the toxic stuff is still there.
It's never gonna fully go away.
Because like I would pull that shit with like all my other exes where I would like purposely do stuff just to like get them to react.
Can I ask, why were you looking for the reaction? What did that mean to you?
I don't know. I just wanted a little drama.
I can tell you why.
Why?
Because I do that too, and I finally understood why I do.
Okay, why?
You want attention.
Yeah,
it's the attention.
I was feeling really needy, so I just wanted him to like he just wanted to go to bed, but I like no, I want your attention. I want you to stay up, so I'm gonna like piss you off so you can stay up.
Yep, and it's like I'm not gonna be the person that's gonna come to you and be like, hey, can you give me attention? No, I'm going to pick a fight and I'm going to push your buttons until I get a fucking reaction.
I'm going to piss you off.
Yes, because that reaction then lets me, my fucked up traumatic brain, lets me know like, oh, he loves me. He cares about me.
And I felt like, and when he was pissed, I was like turned on. Yeah. Like secretly I was like, he's looking real good right now. Yeah. As he's yelling at me.
But then it's like you fucking push them to that point. And it's like now to you, it's like, oh, this is just for fun. It's just for fun. Like, let's get over it now. And then to them, it's like, no, like now you've pushed me to this fucking limit. Like, now I'm pissed.
He's like, congratulations. It is now 2:30 a.m. and we are up still. Like, look what you did. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to hang out.
That shit is so funny because I like sometimes
it's still there. Like we're better, but like there is that like sometimes like my Filipino accent goes
fucking glitch
sometimes. A fucking glitch. I said sometimes.
Sometimes you still just like need that just to know like I don't know what the fuck it is.
You feel loved when you're like when you make them upset. Like I feel loved when I get them upset because I'm like, okay, they care. Like he cares because I got him upset.
See, the way that I do it, which is like, this is fucking really bad. It's like, I know it's very manipulative when I do it because I know where I'm like, okay, cool. I know he's like, I can tell when my boyfriend's kind of getting up there and he's trying to like diffuse. And I just keep pushing and pushing. And I'm like, you know what? When he knows that I'm pissed, he's like, he doesn't like getting me upset. So I'm like, oh, I fucking know if I want attention, if I want him to be extra nice to me or whatever, instead of just being like, hey, you know, like I'm feeling this way, like blah, blah, blah. Like,
but they won't listen if you fucking say that though. You know the truth. Like, because I know for a fact because I kept telling him I want to stay up and he's not listening to me. So I'm like going to.
Yeah, because they're like. Yeah, because it's like, I just want to go to sleep. I'm fucking tired. So sometimes you do need to kind of like put your foot down and be like, hey, let me just remind you real quick who the fuck I am. Like. Me being cool and chill with you, this is a choice, but I can very quickly not
I could
be this person.
Fucking bitch right now.
Yeah,
I'm
so it's like,
brat.
I know, I do that shit in the same way, and it's like, sometimes I just do it because I'm like, fuck, I know I'm going to have one over him. And then like sometimes I'm just gonna get my fucking way for like a day or two.
You know, want it for like a second. You just want to be a brat. You're not a brat all the time.
Yeah, like literally for like a second. And then when when he really gets mad, I'm like, oh fuck, just kidding. Like
and then you
I
cry,
didn't mean that.
And then you like feel bad, and you have to like play the part.
I just kiss his ass, and I
just cry, and I'm like, I'm sorry. Well, I was also drunk, so I just feel like my emotions are heightened. But yeah, I think at that moment, I just really wanted attention. And like me just telling him I wanted attention wasn't enough. So I had to throw a fit. I had to be
That's literally what it is. It's like you're a fucking child and then you throw a tantrum.
Right.
And then they give you the attention that you want. And then it's like a never fucking ending cycle. So I'm like, oh, this still works. Cool. Great. I should do this more often.
Right.
And then you really need to fucking push yourself to be like, fuck, I can't be doing this anymore.
I know.
Like,
I realized in the midst of it that I was like, this is kind of fucked up. And like the next morning we had like a whole therapy session because he was like, I think you're just like, you get like that because you think me being mean to you or like mad at you is like what makes you feel loved because your mom was like always mad at you, and like he just like went
shout out to you, because if my boyfriend ever came at me with that shit, I'd be like, leave, I don't want to talk to you ever again. I
know, but me and my boyfriend love to have like therapy sessions. We're like, why do you act like this? We like dive in.
No, like I can't do that shit. Like, I love doing that with my therapist. I'm gonna keep it in the therapy room.
Right.
Like, I can't therapize. Like, I can't do too much of that with my boyfriend because then I'm like, oh, you're seeing me too much. No, like I don't want you to see me that much.
I like tell him more than my therapist. I don't know. Maybe I might get screwed over in the end.
No. Like, I don't think it's like, again, like, I think, you know, shit works differently. Like, no, everything, you got to find what works for you and your partner. And like, that's great. I'm way too fucking sensitive for my boyfriend to be like, I think you act like that because like you're traumatized from like blah, blah, blah.
You'd be like, fuck you.
I would literally like, that would literally set me off and be like, you don't fucking know me. Who the fuck do you think you are to tell me that shit? Yeah. Like, I would not. But yeah, I do that shit to him all the time. And I'm like, you know what?
But I do it to him too. We do it to each other. We're just like, maybe.
Yeah, because that works for you guys.
Or like, why do you act like this? Do you think this stems from your dad? Your mom? Like, we just like talk. Yeah. We just love to like dissect each other. That's I just like
to dissect my boyfriend, but I don't like
to want to dissect.
No, because I'm like, who the fuck do you think you are? I'm not paying you to tell me this. You're just supposed to sit there and tell me you are perfect and I love you so much. Like, aww. You know what I mean? So it's like when every it comes dynamic to that, is different. Yes, like criticism, I take it very personally from him. Like, and that's the thing where it's like he's very good at being like letting it down, like, oh, fuck, I don't know how to say it. Like, he's very good at knowing, like, how to talk to me about something. Right. Because he knows, like, fuck, if I use this word, like, that's really going to hurt her feelings. So he's like, I don't want you to take this personally. I'm just saying, da-da-da-da-da, blah, 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 blah. But I do realize, like, I have a very hard time, like, taking criticism from him because I'm just, like. Because
he's your number one.
Yeah, and I'm like.
You care about what he thinks.
Like, yes, and I think that's, like, what it is because then. Again, I have really struggled with the fact that, like, men ain't shit, but yet, like, I am with a man. Right. You know what I mean? So it's, like, finding that, like, balance of, like, still feeling like I'm myself in the relationship, still feel like I have a say and I have control over my own life, but also being with a man and letting this man into my life and understanding that this is an important person in my life and that, like.
Just take gender apart from it and just look at him as a person. Like, you know what I mean? And just, I don't know if that helps. I don't know if that was like
that's actually positivity. Honestly, that's probably like a really good idea.
Like, just take gender out of it and just look at him as.
I've never actually thought about doing that.
Oh my God. Okay.
You might be onto something right now because I'm like, wait. I'm like,
was that bad advice? I don't know.
Hold the fuck on. Like,
take gender out of it. Okay. I'm going to stick with it. Take gender out of it and just look at him as like a person and not like categorize him into something, you know?
Because I always see him, I'm like, God damn,
you're like, you're a man. You're a man. Like, just take that away.
I'm going to try that.
Try that and, like, let me know. We'll do an update.
Yes, I'm going to try that because, honestly, I never actually, like, have tried that. And I'm always just like, God,
because, like, I think in reality, like, because I've been guilty of that, too, is, like, we kind of categorize, like, a lot of dudes are not shit. Let's be real. Yeah. But men are also people, too. With their own set of traumas, their own set of feelings. Yes. So I think just taking that category of his gender out and looking at him as like a person with his traumas and his feelings and his experiences and like, you know, as your person and just thinking of that versus trying to, you know.
Damn, that is crazy. I'm really going to remember this. I'm having a moment right now and I'm like, fuck yeah, why haven't I done that? Because I really do. I'm like.
You probably hurt from like other guys in your past, you know? And like, I think also the whole like, you know, because a lot of guys aren't shit. Like, let's be real. Like, I'm not going to disagree with that. But like, at the same time, there are good people out there, good guys out there. It's just, just take that away for a second and just look at him.
That's true. He's gonna like that. He's gonna like to hear that. He's gonna like to hear that. He's gonna be like, oh yes, finally somebody's getting through to her. I've been trying for the past 10+ years. Hasn't.
I love that. Therapy. Growth.
Yes, this is broke girl therapy.
Broke girl therapy. We were supposed to read emails. We're over an hour.
Oh fuck. We can read one email.
Okay, let's read one email. Let's get into it because we just like rambled. Let's do something like short-ish. Short-ish. Okay, this one says, I need some honest advice. And I think you're great because you're very honest. It says, first, let me say that I love the pod. And I'm so proud of you, Steph, for how far you've come. And I'm so happy you found happiness you deserve, girl. Thanks. Okay, so I need some honest, real advice. So I met a guy in early 2020. I was in an unhealthy relationship and I was trying to get out of. The guy had just gotten out of a relationship, so we were kind of each other's escape. Okay, so you got out of a relationship and they were rebounding each other.
Mm-hmm.
We got really close and eventually took things further than just talking. I want to say that I'm not proud that I cheated. Wait.
Okay.
Was she with someone?
She was still with her ex.
I'm drunk.
She was still with her ex, and then she met this guy, and they were friends. They hit it off, and then things happened.
So honest, I had the relationship. I got out this guy. I just got out of a relationship. We were kind of just really close. I don't feel like she said that she was in a relationship.
She did. She said she was in a unhealthy relationship that she was trying to get out of.
Oh, okay, duh.
And he had just gotten out of a relationship.
I'm drunk.
Okay.
They
took things further.
Okay. I want to say that I'm not proud that I cheated. I know that I could have just left if I was unhappy, but that's always easier said than done. Anyway, this guy that I developed feelings for, and I developed feelings for each other and became really close. We connected on such a deeper level, a connection I never felt with anyone, in all caps. Mind you, I was in a relationship for 17 years. 17
years?
How old are you?
Okay.
17 years?
Damn, I've never met anybody longer than what I've been in.
Oh my
Other
God.
than my parents, but Jesus.
But I knew he was dating, as he should, because we were not in an official relationship, obviously. Well, fast forward to February 2021, and I found out that the girl he was dating was pregnant. I found out through someone else, so I was really hurt that he didn't tell me and just keep it real with me. We stopped talking for a bit, and I still cared for him, and I knew the feeling was mutual. Since then, we have started talking again. Okay. I am currently single and working on myself. He still tells me he loves me and misses me and us. He is always checking on me and even asks about my kids. Oh, she got kids. Sorry for those who don't like me to burp.
They're going to drag you in the comments again.
They're going to drag you in the comments again. I know he genuinely cares about me, but he's still with that girl and has a whole ass family. LOL. I'm really confused as to what he wants. I've told him I'm good with us just staying friends, but I think he still wants more than that. Like I said, I know there's mutual love there, always will be, but I just don't know if it's worth holding on to this relationship, friendship, or just letting go completely. I don't want to come in between him and his family, but it's also hard to just let him go, especially when I know we still love each other. Please give me some honest advice. Yo, girl needs help.
I have a lot of thoughts.
Yeah, what are your thoughts?
Okay, number one, good for you for leaving that unhealthy relationship.
Yeah.
You have kids, so that always adds an extra layer of like complexity to things because you also need to think about them and they become more important than you and your own feelings.
Yeah. They come first.
Yes. So good on you for doing that. Fuck it, people cheat. You were in a healthy relationship.
You weren't happy.
You weren't happy.
It was gonna end.
Was it the best thing that you could have done? Probably not. But hey, it was what you had to do at the moment.
Just don't be hard on yourself for that.
Yeah. You know, forgive yourself. Let it go.
But
do
this
I
man,
do I think you should keep talking to this guy?
No.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Listen.
It's going from one unhealthy situation to another unhealthy situation.
Yes.
You don't deserve that shit.
You deserve a person who, one, is available. You deserve a person who's going to show up for you, who's going to be there for you, and who's going to provide and fulfill whatever needs you have. He is in a difficult situation because he has a child now.
That's his number one.
He's with the mother of his child.
There you go.
And I just think that is just a really bad fucking idea because if he's doing this to the mother of his child,
he's gonna do that to you.
He's definitely gonna
are you ever gonna do that to you? Right. Like, are you ever gonna feel safe? Like what we talked about.
Yes, you're not gonna trust this guy. You may think that you're gonna trust him, but because you know what he's doing now, right? That he's still on the side texting you and telling you he loves you, blah, blah, blah. Your mind is always going to wonder if he's doing the same thing with you. I just don't think that this is a good idea. I think that at this point, it's been, what, 1.5 years, 2 years since 2020, you said? I feel like you have created this scenario and fairy tale idea of him in your head.
That's not real.
And if you were to go down this road with him, it is never going to live up to what you've created in your own head. And you're just going to end up disappointed and heartbroken.
That's so true.
And I feel like sometimes the best thing that you can do for somebody, especially if there's care or love, like you called it, between both of you, is to just let them go, because you're better off without them in your life, and they're better off without you, because this is just a messy, messy situation that like you're going to choose to involve yourself in. It's just not going to work.
It's not going to work.
It's going to be a disappointment. It's never going to live up to the whatever romanticized idea you have in your head. And you're just going to waste another year of your life trying to make something like this work. And also,
what were you saying?
If he really wanted to be with you, he would be with his baby mama.
He would be with you. Like we said, going back to like how it should be easy.
Mm-hmm.
It should be easy to be together. Like, it should be easy knowing that like he wants to be with you. Like, he's not going to tell you he wants to be with you, but then end up staying with his situation. Like, he would do what he wants to be with you, but clearly that's not happening. So that's not the reality. And that's unfortunate, because I know how it feels to be in love with someone who just is a fraud, you know, or just confusing, you know, and it's just like, it's not worth it. Again, we have to go through these situations like we talked about earlier, where you have to like go through these toxic situations to realize your worth. And I think this is something in your life that you have to like go through in order to realize, like, I never want to go through this again, you know? So hopefully that you learn that lesson. Again, you'll go through it the way that you want to go through. You make your own decisions, but we're telling you he ain't shit.
Yeah, it's not a good idea. Also, I don't know what it is about it, but I feel like she's put him in a pedestal because he was like her out. Because he was such a great relief for her when she was in this unhappy relationship.
That's so true.
You know, that for her now, it's like nothing that he does can be seen as bad, because it's like, well, he was so good to me at that point. But it's like,
she's repeating a cycle though, like one unhealthy situation to another. Like, stop that cycle now and just like look at what's actually happening, and like that's not real love.
I mean, you've already spent, and I don't want to say you wasted 17 years of your life. You didn't, because you have kids.
Years.
You have kids that came out of that, and I'm sure that at some point that relationship, you know, was wonderful. But you've spent 17 years with somebody that ultimately was not what you wanted. Do you want to spend another year,
with
another month,
who isn't worth it?
Exactly, with somebody who's not it for you? Like,
that's something to note, because I think, you know, when you're with someone for so long and then you become single, you kind of like, the reality is like you kind of like lose
sight of who you are.
Lose sight of like the game. Like, I feel like she's so used to being in a relationship that she's expecting the next person that she's with, like, to be, like, I don't know.
To be her next, like, forever?
Right. Like,
yeah, you probably, chances are, and it's like, you know, this is going to sound maybe a little bit cruel. I don't mean it that way. But chances are you don't know how to be alone. So you're just trying to rush into...
That's real. Codependency.
Yes, like you were with somebody for 17 years, living together, raising kids, having a family, all of that stuff. Now you find yourself single, which I'm sure that probably wasn't your plan. And chances are you just don't know how to be alone anymore. That you're trying to rush into this like situation thinking like, but he's so great because he like still loves me despite all of this. When in reality, it's like, no, girl, I'll be real honest with you.
And if she's been out of the game for a while, she probably doesn't recognize the game. And a lot of times this is the shit that happens when you date people. They tell you how they feel, but they don't really act on it.
I'm going to tell you the game right now that this man is playing. He wants a side chick. Okay?
Right.
He wants a girl that he can go to that's not his wife, that he can just fucking be easy-go-lucky.
Easy-go-lucky,
Yes, have fun with, hang out with, fuck, and blah, 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 with no responsibility and no obligation to it. That's what he's looking for. Because I can guarantee you, he's not leaving that baby mom. No. He's not going to do it. And even if he does, he's going to go right back.
Right. And she's still going to be in his life. So that's
Forever.
always going to be a situation that they have to deal with.
So think about that. Are you ready to constantly be dealing with that? Because I can almost guarantee you that just based off your email and the situation that you're in, you're probably going to have a level of insecurity that this woman being such a big part of his life and being the mother of his kid is gonna bring out of you. Is that really something you want to get into? No.
And look, yeah, you don't want to get into it. Know your worth. And also, like, being single is fun. I know it's, like, hard and it could be lonely, but, like, there's something so, like, powerful in that. Like, just try to, you know, find a way to make yourself happy. Because I know it sounds so cliche. Like, the positive talks, I hate sounding so cliche. I hate it too. But it's just like sometimes it's just like there's nothing more to say
than like literally. I mean, these cliches have been around for a fucking reason this long.
It's annoying to hear, but it's like it actually is like so powerful to be single and be alone for a second because you learn a lot about yourself.
Yes. So you spent 17 years of your life in a relationship attached to somebody else to the hip. Here's
17 years.
That's so long. Here's my suggestion for you.
How old was I 17 years
All
ago?
this love and effort and time that you're putting into this friendship with this person, possible relationship, cut that shit out and put that back into yourself. Not even into your kids. Put that shit into yourself. Learn who you are at this age. Learn what you like. Write down a list of everything that you hated in your ex-partner and all the positives that you like in this other person, and then go and find it with neither of these two people. Focus on yourself, learn how to be single, and be alone again.
Right. Bruh, I'm 31 and I just minus 17 to see how old I would be if I was with someone who's 14.
That's fucking crazy.
Like, let's say she was 30. Like, let's say she was 31. If she was, well, I mean, I guess you've been so 15, but that's different. You're 28. But like, I'm like, oh my God.
I was 11 17 years ago.
Oh my God. You've been with this man's for a minute.
Yeah.
So
no matter what age you were, 17 years is a really long time.
Long time.
To be with somebody.
Long time.
There's no, like, the person that you were when you started dating your ex-partner.
You're completely different. Like
who you are now.
We literally live so many different lives in our one lifetime. Like, it's crazy. Like,
I mean, every 7 years, like, we have fully new, like, regenerated cells.
I mean, even just from, like, 3 years ago, a completely different life. Like, it's crazy. So I think we all can see that because that was 2019 pre-pandemic. It was a completely different life.
And I was like, girl, if you've known this man since 2020 and then he got some other girl pregnant, like, what happened when you became single? Why didn't he act then?
That's the truth.
It's like, it's been 2 years. He's wasting your time. Cut it out. Block his number. Move on.
There's a lot of, like, people out there in the world.
There's a lot
out there. There's really a lot. And you're going to connect with, like, a lot of people. And you probably don't realize it because maybe you're closing off to the idea. But, like, you're really going to connect to a lot of people.
Yeah. So, no, girl, don't give it a chance. Please cut it out.
Yeah. Anyways, Encanto. Encanto.
Yes. Just say it with your Filipino accent.
And then you got
it. Yes. That's literally what
Encanto.
It is. Ma'am, you are ripping this chair.
I know that. My cat just like loves whoever's on the show. She just like.
She just really wants to be part of it. She wants to be the mascot.
She kind of is.
Yeah, you have to put her on the next photo shoot.
I really should actually. Maybe I should.
Yeah, or if you ever start your own like podcast network, she should be like the little face of it. She really is the face of it. Yes. I also want to acknowledge the fact that your dog came to hang out with us right here versus his bed.
I know. I think it's because it's hot.
Maybe. So he also was licking my ankles.
He was. Yes. He loves licking ankles.
And I was like, oh, you like me.
Yeah, he loves licking ankles and like toes.
Yeah, it's really cute.
Anyways, we're like an hour and a half in.
Yeah, I think that's all the time we got, guys.
Yeah. Plug yourself. Do you want to plug yourself? No.
No, yeah, that's fine. You guys can follow me. Fuck, I'm trying to think. Fuck, what username belongs to what? You guys can follow me on Instagram. It's Mighty Killer B.
Oh, yeah. Because you're Mighty Killer. And then you're like,
Yes, that has been the username that I've used since I was like in high school. Like a friend of mine like gave it to me and I've used it on everything. You guys can also follow me on TikTok. I talk a lot of shit on TikTok.
Do I follow you on TikTok? You have a TikTok?
Yeah, I have a TikTok. Maybe not. I don't think we follow each other.
We'll follow each other.
I fucking love TikTok. Okay, I'm not really on Instagram like that anymore.
TikTok is so much better than Instagram.
Bro, I love TikTok. I will sit there for an hour and laugh my ass off.
Yeah.
Yes. So you guys can follow me on TikTok at Mighty Killer B. You guys can follow me on Instagram. same username. That is Mighty Killa Bee.
I'll plug it. It's in the description below.
You guys can follow my Twitter. I don't really be doing much on there anymore.
She just be tweeting me and telling me that she doesn't like my guys. And that
I get very, very political on Twitter when I'm on there.
Do you like my boyfriend? I feel like you have like do you like my boyfriend now? You didn't like my ex-boyfriend. Did you like my boyfriend now?
I like your boyfriend now. Okay, he gives me good vibes.
Okay, good.
But also he's a Cancer man.
Yeah.
So
very emotional.
As a fellow Cancer men are scary. But I feel like he goes to therapy. So he's like developed. So, you know, that's good. If he wasn't going to therapy, I'd be like, oh, I don't know about all that. Because Cancer men be like on some other shit. Like personally, I would never date a Cancer man. I just feel like that's way too much for me. Too many emotions.
But I feel like I'm all very emotional, and I feel like all the other guys before have just been so like not emotional enough for me.
I think you guys complement each other very well.
Right.
Like definitely. I
feel like the old him, I don't think I would do because he was way more emotional before. Like he's definitely emotionally more mature now.
Yes.
Like how he was before, I feel like it would be way too much for me. But now that he's like worked on himself and goes to therapy, it's like better.
Yes, I feel like that's probably the reason where I'm like, yeah, I like him. Like he seems like he has a good head on his shoulders.
Yeah,
he knows what he wants. You know what I mean? He does seem like
$dollar sign at the wedding.
We need to talk about that further because I still think that is a very random choice. Out of all the people, $dollar sign, you know, whatever. Yeah. You know, we all have our own choices.
Right.
But yeah, like I like the fact that he like has taken the time to like work on himself. So yes, to answer your question, I do like your boyfriend.
Good. Because I feel like you didn't like my ex. I needed validation.
No, I did. I definitely didn't like your ex. Wasn't he a fucking Virgo too?
Yeah, he was a fucking Virgo.
Oh God, I'm sorry to all the Virgos. Listen, if any women
your
out
boyfriend's
there,
a Virgo.
I know he's a girl. That's why I'm telling you. I genuinely feel like any person who is dating a Virgo man, we need to start a support group. Because nobody fucking understands what it's like to date a Virgo man unless you fucking date a Virgo man.
And my high school boyfriend that I dated for 5 years was a Virgo man.
Oh my God.
Like literally controlling and OCD and just like.
There's just so fucking much. I'm like, God,
he didn't let me.
stop?
And he like cry. He was like emotional, but like not emotional at the same time. It was really weird.
That is really weird. I will give it to my boyfriend. He's not controlling with me in the sense, but he's super fucking controlling in like everything aspect of him, of like his life. I'm
folds his clothes and puts it in the drawer. I roll mine up.
In the what? In the what? Where does he put his clothes?
Everyone makes fun of me the way I say this word.
Oh, you do that intentionally?
No, I just say it like this, but I feel like people have called me out, and I always hope that people don't call me out.
Okay, please say that
again. Drawer?
The drawer.
Drawer.
That is very interesting. I've never heard anyone say
people have called me out on that before, and I was like, I just feel like
now I'm like, fuck, how do you say that word? Drawer?
He puts in the drawer. Like, I like roll my clothes. Like, I don't know. It's like very neatly, like drawer, like sized, and it's a whole thing.
Yeah, they're very OCD about their shit. My boyfriend is just like a hot, happy mess. Everything's a mess, but he knows exactly where things are.
Yeah. No, my ex-boyfriend was never a mess. Like, literally, no mess.
See, that's like the one Virgo quality that my boyfriend, that I'm like, I really wish you were such a Virgo in that sense, but he's like the opposite, where he's like, no, like...
He's chaotic. Does he have ADHD?
I genuinely do. I think he does. I think he has ADD. Not like ADHD. Like, I don't think he's hyper. I definitely think he has ADD, and it's just like not like diagnosed.
Because I'm the same way. Like, my chaos is my mess, but everyone looks at it as like a mess. But I'm like, this is organized.
Yeah, like he knows where everything is. He has like a fucking plan. He has like a plan for his life. He's like, no, like I can't. You don't understand. Like I can't get to that until I do. And he's like,
also creative. That makes sense.
Extremely creative.
Like creative ADD. Like it kind of goes like it's like me.
Yeah, I generally think he generally does have ADD. Because I'm like, you don't have any of like the neat freak like.
But his like chaos is his like. Organized.
Yeah, his chaos is like his own thing. It's like there's oh my god, what's the Weekend album? There's something in the madness, or there's madness in the whatever.
I can't stand the Weekend.
I really liked him when he first started.
When he first started,
yes,
but I just
like the trilogy. Oh, amazing!
But
now I'm like,
no,
no, I don't really vibe with him.
Wait, we could keep rambling.
I know, dude.
Did you plug? You plugged.
I plugged myself, yes.
Okay, and then follow me, Stefanie Maegan, or go to brokegirltherapy.com. You guys send me more questions or stories and your phone numbers, and yeah, I want to like kiki and talk about your life.
Send us all the tea.
All the tea. I want to know everything. Send me in their Instagrams, their photos. Like I need to know.
I know. I feel like you need to start like people need to start plugging in their Instagram so we can get like a visual.
I know, but the whole charm of it is that they're anonymous, so they don't get to like they could just talk it out, but like not know people.
Well, it could be like an option, like if
it
somebody
is an
wants
option,
to.
but like a lot of like to be anonymous. Yeah.
Oh. Just send us a picture. She's not gonna post it.
Some people do.
Know.
Some people do.
We just want to know what you look like.
Okay.
And also, like, what if like your boyfriend's like, or the guy that you're like complaining about, or whatever?
Oh, they'll send it to me sometimes. Sometimes they'll like DM me and be like,
cool.
"Oh, thank you," but they don't want to be like exposed.
No, yeah, definitely. Like, I don't think you should expose them, but like,
yeah, sometimes they send it to me.
Like, what if they're like super hot? Then it's like my answer might change. So like,
right.
Don't fall in love with him, but like, you know, like, fuck him still because he's super hot.
Right, that's true.
I feel like that matters.
You always that does sometimes.
Right? Like,
yeah, I get it. Okay, bye guys.
Okay, bye.
Broke Girl Therapy. 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 Broke Girl Therapy.